What is this? Car and Woman magazine. What is this?
Oh, hey, Mom.
If you ever take this attitude with us again, you can take whatever is in that bank account of yours and go discover America. Jimmy Bean simply took it upon themselves to take off for Atlanta with no concern for the worry and pain they left behind.
I left a note behind.
Oh, you certainly did.
Looks just like a daughter I used to have. Mom, don't get upset.
Mom! And you give it away in one day.
Mama!
Apollo didn't get hurt, he got killed. People get killed.
One of the most hurtful things that ever happened to me was when my then husband looked at me and said, "Why don't you face it? You're just second string."
Let me tell you the story of one of the most iconic women in television, Phylicia Rashad.
Life's journey is what it is for each of us. Your journey is your journey. Don't compare it to someone else's, and don't think that something has to happen for you the way it happened for somebody else or the way you think it happened for somebody else. You give yourself completely to what you're doing because it's in you to do.
She's been through it all, and we're about to get into it. From her smooth rise to fame, family life.
She's definitely my mother. She always has been since I've been here. But there's so much more to her than just my mother. There's just so much more to her than that. The wisdom that's given is so great, as opposed to thinking, well, that's my mother, and now I'm grown and I really don't have to listen. There's a whole human being here who stands on her own, always has. And because you taught me those things, not from what you said, but because of the way we lived, I have been able to move in life.
Mom,
You're gonna run your makeup.
A few bumps along the way, and even some juicy moments you probably didn't know about. So buckle up. It's going to be an interesting ride.
You want me to sum that up in 30 seconds?
Phylicia Ayers Allen Rashad. Yep, that's her full name. Was born on June 19th, 1948 in Houston, Texas.
I grew up in Houston, Texas during a time of legal segregation in our country.
She was raised by a powerhouse mother, Vivian Ayers, who was a Pulitzer Prize-nominated poet and a well-known cultural force.
Allen's most famous works are the Pulitzer Prize-winning Spice of Dawns and the poem Hawk, which is an allegory of freedom made analogous to spaceflight. The poem was published on July 11, 1957, just 11 weeks before the Soviet Union's Sputnik 1 satellite took flight.
I didn't anticipate as much as I was to get out of the writing of Hawk, which was an actual documentation of the process of transcendence. Hawk is a story of transcendence.
So you know Phylicia was bound for greatness with a mom like that, right? Phylicia, along with her siblings, her older brother Andrew, who everyone called Tex, because why not, and her little sister, the one and only Debbie Allen, grew up in Mexico. Yep, you heard that right.
Mexico City turned out to be the adventure of a lifetime for a 13-year-old. Well, because you're growing up in Houston, Texas, in segregation, and, you know, it wasn't like people loved the color of your skin. Mexican people would look at me and they'd say, "Ay, negrita." And I didn't understand that was a compliment. They loved the color of my skin.
Now, if you're wondering why Mexico, let me spill the tea. Their fierce mama wasn't playing around when it came to protecting her babies. She packed them all up and moved out of Texas faster than you can say adios, because she was not about to let her kids endure the ugly mess of racism and segregation running rampant in the 1950s.
My mother was determined that her children would not be scarred by this ignorance.
Her dad, Andrew Arthur Allen, was an orthodontist, which screams upper middle class. And you can bet their house was filled with all the artsy intellectual vibes.
And my father, Dr. Andrew A. Allen, was a dentist.
Yes.
And my father was born on the back porch of a farm in Lobdell, Louisiana. He was one of 10 children, 9 of whom survived. He was a graduate of St. Augustine College, his undergraduate years, and then he graduated from Howard University's School of Dentistry.
But let's not be fooled. Phylicia's childhood wasn't all poetry readings and fancy dinners. There were challenges in this perfect family. You see, Phylicia's parents divorced when she was young, and divorce, back in those days, was quite the scandal. No one really talks about it much, but this was a defining moment in her life. You'd think all those upper crust folks would keep it classy, but behind closed doors, drama. Her mom became a single mother, working hard to make sure her kids had the finest education and cultural exposure. But Phylicia, she didn't just let that drama hold her down. She was out here making moves. Now, you probably remember Phylicia as Claire Huxtable, the picture-perfect TV mom from The Cosby Show.
Sandra, you owe us $79,648.22, and I want my money now.
But let me tell you, her road to stardom wasn't a smooth ride on a golden carpet. Before landing that gig, Phylicia was a struggling actress, trying to make her way in a world that wasn't always kind to women of color. She took her talents to Broadway.
You see, when I had inherited that garden, my mother warned me that I would be punished if ever I were to lose any of the beans.
Performing in shows like Dreamgirls. Yes, before Beyoncé stepped into that role, Phylicia was killing it on stage. But even then, she wasn't getting the flowers she deserved. It's like, come on, the talent was right there. Then 1984 hits, and The Cosby Show comes knocking. And we know this is where the legend of Claire Huxtable was born.
You have taken us from levels of frenzy, panic, distress, and now that we know you're okay, rage.
Claire wasn't just a wife or a mother. She was the wife, the mother. Smart, strong, successful, and able to read you to filth in the classiest way possible.
But you told the child to use a mask. A mask. What is that going to do? A mask. That just goes to show you don't know anything about sick people.
But here's where the real-life drama seeps in. There's no denying that The Cosby Show was revolutionary. But let's not act like Bill Cosby himself didn't bring his fair share of scandal into the mix. Now, if you thought Claire Huxtable had it all together on The Cosby Show,
I think that show really gave new light to married life and relationship between husband and wife and surviving children together. I always felt that one of the reasons that Claire was held in such esteem by audiences was because she was held in such esteem by her husband.
you might want to grab your tea because her real-life love story is full of drama, twists, and just a sprinkle of scandal. Let's start with husband number one. Back in the 1970s, Phylicia was an up-and-coming actress trying to make a name for herself in the industry. Enter William Lancelot Bowles Jr., her first hubby, and guess what? A dentist. Yes, while she was auditioning for roles, William was busy drilling teeth. They got married in 1972 and even had a son together, William III. But here's where things get juicy.
One of the most hurtful things that ever happened to me was when my then husband looked at me and said, "Why don't you face it? You're just second string." Well, that's when I knew he would be my ex-husband.
They were the perfect power couple for a minute, but like a bad cavity, the marriage started decaying fast. By 1975, they called it quits, leaving Phylicia single again and ready for a glow-up.
Those words were enough to let me know, I can't live with you. Right.
Now, husband number two, hold on to your seat, was Victor Willis, the original lead singer of none other than the Village People. Phylicia was married to the YMCA guy.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
I mean, how do you go from a dentist to a man who's rocking leather chaps and leading a disco revolution? They tied the knot in 1978, and let's be real, this was a match nobody saw coming. For a while, it looked like a party, but behind closed doors, let's just say their YMCA days didn't last forever. Rumors started swirling that Victor had his own personal drama with substances, and Phylicia wasn't here for that. In 1982, they too called it quits. But wait, the third Third time's the charm, right? Because in 1985, Phylicia took another walk down the aisle, this time with sportscaster Ahmad Rashad. Now this wedding, oh, it was straight out of a movie. Ahmad proposed to Phylicia live on TV during a halftime show on Thanksgiving Day with a massive diamond ring.
I got something I want you to do for me. There's a lady that I'm in love with, and you know the lady as Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. What I'd like you to do is dispatch somebody. She's there in New York at the Macy's Day Parade. Now, this isn't all serious now. I would like to send this message to her. Phylicia, would you marry me?
I mean, the man knew how to make a grand gesture. And Phylicia, she said yes in front of millions. The whole nation swooned. They were the it couple of the 80s and 90s, and they had a daughter together, Condola Rashad, who is now a talented actress herself.
Not directly address your counterpart's attorney unless she addresses you first.
But like any Hollywood love story, this one had its dark clouds too. Even though they were together for nearly 16 years, rumors of infidelity started to creep in. Ahmad, being the former football star and TV personality,
can you assess how big this game is being here in Paris?
Was often surrounded by temptation. And let's just say the tabloids were busy. By 2001, they went their separate ways, leaving Phylicia with 3 ex-husbands and a whole lot of life lessons. Now, here's the kicker. Phylicia doesn't regret a thing.
I've been married 3 times, but I don't feel that I've ever been married once. It's like, okay, then stop.
She's been open about the fact that each marriage taught her something new. And if you ask her, she's living her best life these days, thriving in her career, beloved by fans, and steering clear of the drama. For now, at least. So, what's next for Phylicia? A 4th hubby? Who knows? But if we've learned anything from her love life, it's that this queen always knows how to keep us entertained. Fast forward to today, and Phylicia is still out here doing the damn thing. She's been keeping busy with television roles, like her recent gig on This Is Us.
Your father was gone. My heir was gone.
And let's not forget her role in Empire. Yes, she played a no-nonsense mom there, too.
We're going to be friends, dear. There is one thing that is paramount, and that is honesty.
It's like Hollywood just can't get enough of Phylicia playing strong-willed matriarchs. But what's more exciting is her current role as the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Howard University, her alma mater.
Today's DC Thing is a full circle moment for a Howard University graduate turned Hollywood star. Award-winning actress Phylicia Rashad is returning to her alma mater as the new Dean of Howard University's College of Fine Arts.
She's shaping young minds now, giving back to the next generation of artists, and making sure that the arts are alive and well at one of the country's most prestigious HBCUs. Can we just say, this woman does not stop? She's out here making boss moves in her 70s like it's nothing. Now let's get into the money talk, because you know we have to talk about the coin. Phylicia's net worth is reportedly around $25 million. That's right, $25 million. Between her acting gigs, endorsement deals, and that sweet Cosby Show residual money, she's living comfortably, darling. But don't get it twisted, Phylicia doesn't flaunt her wealth. She's not out here flashing diamonds or taking private jets to Cannes, at least not publicly. She keeps it low-key, which just adds to her mystique. Oh, but there's one more thing you need to know. Phylicia is aging like fine wine. I mean, have you seen her lately? She's as gorgeous now as she was in the 80s. And trust me, everyone's noticed. People are always asking, what's her secret? Let's be real. It's probably good genes, a little bit of Hollywood magic, and a lot of grace.
Oh.
Whatever it is, she's got it, and we are here for it. So, what is Phylicia Rashad up to today? She's staying busy between mentoring young talent, popping up on our screens, and doing God knows what to stay looking that fabulous. She's still the queen we always knew she was. But don't think she's forgotten her roots. She continues to speak out on issues that matter to her, whether it's promoting the arts, talking about the importance of HBCUs, or speaking her truth when the situation calls for it.
He saved me, Apollo.
In a world full of celebrities who flame out after a decade, Phylicia has kept her light shining bright. She's had her share of ups and downs like all of us, but it's how she carries herself that makes her unforgettable. Sure, there was drama, some of it messier than others, but through it all, Phylicia Rashad remains unbothered, unshakable, and iconic. We can only hope that when we're in our 70s, we're still out here breaking barriers and looking flawless doing it.